Making a Murderer,
Netflix
and chill.
Hello and welcome to Netflix and Chill, where we binge watch Netflix programming and tell you all about it so you don't have to. Trust me, there's a lot. It's not all good. We're doing you a service. This episode, we're not talking about a season of a show. We're not talking about a limited series. We're kind of talking about a show as a whole, as a phenomenon, because we're going into the reality TV section of Netflix with Nailed It.
Yeah.
Yes, Nailed It. What would you say the concept behind Nailed It is? It's those DIY home bakers who see stuff on like Instagram and then try and make that. And it never turns out nearly as good as those Instagram posts.
But they think they're
But well, maybe they don't. Either way, the fact of the matter is, this show pits three we'll call them home chefs, against each other in two different competitions of a baking variety, right? Let's say baking variety. Most of them are cakes. Cookies or something. And in each segment, they are provided with this is what you have to recreate, right? Like the Instagram picture. Here it is. But they actually get the actual item, so they can see it in person. And then they're actually given instructions, full-on written instructions on how to make these things. And then they're let loose, and obviously it's timed. And then at the end of each round, there's a winner. After the first round, the person gets some kind of a prize, often a stand mixer or pots and pans, and a hat. There's also somebody deemed the worst of that round, and they usually get some kind of a help in the next round. Then, of course, at the end of the show, one person is deemed the overall winner, and they get, what is it, like $10,000, I think? And so, it's essentially a baking competition, right? Now, it's hosted by 3 people every episode. 2 of them are standard, they are the show. And then one of them is a sort of a guest judge that comes in. Could be anything. Could be somebody from James. Could be somebody who's from another Netflix show, a comedian, somebody of some sort. I didn't recognize most of them. But, a lot of them are, say, chefs. There was a lot of chefs that came in. So maybe they are doing something where they're making, something with macarons, or, maybe a chef who that's their specialty will come in. So this show, as far as we know, started off with Nailed It, the show, which was a USA-based one. They've had multiple seasons of it, to the point where they've had...
So they Nailed It. Was it their France or was there...
I think that they've gone
Brazil.
Other countries, so in different languages. And then they have specials, Christmas special or whatever. They've had multiple different specials. Essentially, the show was so popular that they were able to spin it off and continue it on and do extra specials and stuff like that. And it's kind of clear, especially from we'll call it the U.S. judges, the 2 that were, are continuing through the whole show, that they didn't expect it to blow up that big, because they actually make fun of the fact that, holy crap, we're still doing this. Wow. And I get it. The competition itself, I like the concept behind it, right? The whole idea of This is what, you know, your Instagram posts, and I'll be honest, unless you're a professional baker, you're not going to be able to recreate these things. Like, these are not your Instagram posts of, hey, here's my mom's favorite chili. This is an easy chili recipe. Let's make chili. No, these are like professional grade, beautifully sculpted cakes and cupcakes and cookies and things. So unless you have like some kind of an art degree as well as being able to bake, whatever you create is probably going to turn out really, really funky looking. And that's kind of the point of the show.
But it's not just based on that, so it can look bad and taste great.
Yeah,
right?
exactly, right? So there is the two elements of the what they're judged on. How it tastes and how it looks. First is how it looks, and then the judges all have to taste it. Sometimes they don't want to. And it seemed like at first it was like almost like an actual competition, like the first couple of seasons, but it seems like they're trying to pick people who really can't cook.
Well, because it's
The
fun.
more it goes on, because it results in some really, really bad looking constructed
You
things.
don't want to sit there and watch somebody who, oh my god, look at that. That's exactly what they were supposed to do, because it's not funny.
No.
It's not entertaining. Like, oh, good for
No.
you. Okay.
But at the same time, I don't think I don't care. I don't need to watch. I don't want to watch the France or the other languages and stuff like that. Even though really it is all about, here's what I'm making, here's what I have to make, and here's what it turned out like. That's the overall concept of the show, despite what else is going on. In the other languages, I have no interest in it. Because they don't have the hosts of the US one. And that's where I personally think the Nailed It show really shines. Right? And
Well, she's my favorite. What's the Jack guy or whatever?
it's, yeah, so the
He's
two
okay,
the two
whatever.
hosts are Nicole Byers, who I don't know her before this, but oh my god, she's fabulous. She is an amazing host. She's hilarious, spontaneous. She just comes up with stuff like clearly unscripted. You can tell just from the people who are there. We're just like, okay, that wasn't expected, you know. And it's funny. And then Jack Torrance, who is an actual chef. So he, you know, Nicole's the comedy relief, and Jack is the I know what I'm doing. So he explains how you're actually supposed to make these things professionally, and he could point out, oh, that's going to cause problems. You know what that person's doing right now? That's not going to be good. So, and I do believe he may be the ones who comes up with all the different whatever they're supposed to make as well. And so he's the straight thing, and he's French.
But he's gotten a little bit funnier.
This is the thing. Yes, at the beginning he was the straight edge. I'm the chef. This is how it's gone. And yes, every once in a while he'd quip in a little bit of a joke to play along with Nicole. But as it went along, as the series gone along, he's gotten a little bit looser and looser and looser to the point where he's actually also comedic relief. And I think they play off very, very well together. So well. So I'm going to look up Nicole and see if there's anything I recognize her from. Holy crow, she's been in 94 things.
Really?
But this is one of those things where literally, and we said this right from the first season, we don't know if we would watch any of the other seasons if it wasn't for her. She really sold us on the show.
Well, yeah, because it's like, even when they look at what people have done, their finished products, and it's like, you want to be nice about it, right? Because you don't want to hurt people's feelings and whatever. And then sometimes she'll just look at it and just burst out laughing and be like, "What the heck is that?" Right? Like, it's like...
The things that come out of her, she's very creative, and she's very good. Like, I don't know that I'd want to go against her in one of those improv competitions because I think she'd probably be really good at that. Now, looking at her credits and stuff like that, a lot of it has to do with comedy specials, comedy shows, comedy shorts, comedy originals.
But she doesn't. Is she doing like stand up or is she just like...
No, like when I say that, I say things like UCB comedy originals, Funny or Die presents, and a lot of them are just one episode. She shows up for whatever, as you would say, she's probably from the LA comic scene, right? So there's a lot of that, and I'm finding a lot more with the Netflix stuff and YouTube as well. That there's a lot of interplay, and they tend to give each other work. So it's a lot of that. College Humor Originals, Gay of Thrones, Like, Share, Die. She was in 11 episodes of Pursuit of Sexiness. Again, I don't know what that is. Comedy Bang Bang. No. Party Over Here. She was in 10 episodes of that. I don't know what that is. She did voiceover in one episode of Family Guy. She was in 2 episodes of Transparent. So, little things here and there. One episode of The Simpsons, she did some voice work. So she's done some voice work in a bunch of things that are popular. She was in 2 episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. 3 episodes of Woke. 5 episodes of Big City Greens. She did voiceovers in that. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of little things. But they add up, right? And I seriously hope she gets more because of this show. Because she makes it. She seriously, I don't know if the France show has gone on and been as popular or...
But from what, because we have, or I have at least, but I thought you watched a tiny bit of the different language one.
I have watched a few of them.
They're just, even though you don't know what they're saying, it's just their personality. It's kind of, they seem like more bland or serious or something, and I'm just like, meh.
They come across as, James, no. They come across as kind of your standard, talk show host who, yes, they're telling jokes, to try and liven things up.
James?
But it's not to her level. Her level is it goes beyond that. It's wacky.
Stop.
James.
Stop. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? No. That's dangerous. It's not a toy. I don't know where it went.
There. Or a bit more. There.
I need my spot back. Come here, mister. Look. There you go.
So, when you look at the foreign ones, and I mean, we didn't watch a lot of them, but it just didn't seem to have the zaniness that the U.S. one has.
She's over the top. Like, I don't even remember what season it was, but like she got all like physical and stuff, and just like it just kept going, and you're like, oh my god, I cannot believe this.
What was it? She rolled over the counter or the whatever it was.
And she kept going.
Right?
It's like, oh my god.
And it was clear that was not like scripted.
No.
It was just one of those things where she just decided,
I'm going with it.
I'm going with it, and I'm going full tilt, right? And it's things like that really, because I mean, we watched that other cooking show with the girl, she'd sing a song at the end. Remember? Leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And she seems like all the foreign ones. Yes, tries to be funny, really isn't funny. But Nicole, man, she's the reason why we continue to watch Nailed It. It's not so much the competition.
No,
we don't care who wins.
No, well, sometimes I do, but I don't agree with the way they choose the big winner. Because it's not fair. It's not right. It's like, okay, somebody wins the first one, and then the second one wins the everything, and I don't like that. They should have some kind of point system or something where it's like, it adds up, and like, if you screwed up really bad in the first one and your second one is a little better, you shouldn't just win the whole money. I don't like that.
Wow.
It's not fair. I don't like it.
Yeah, it only comes down to both rounds when the person, there's like 2 people at the end or 3 people at the end, and they're all like, oh, they're very, very close to each other. We can't really pick one based off of the last round. So we go to the first round.
And I think both should be considered
right
to the winning.
You would think so,
but
right?
They don't do that.
No,
so
no.
I don't like that.
I mean, it is often that the person who wins the first round wins the second round as well, but it's very clearly that the first round doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's all about the second round. So
which is ridiculous.
Have fun in the first round. Make sure that everybody likes you. You know, make something that's edible or something like that at least. But in the end, it's the second round. That's the one you got to win the money, which kind of sucks. Most competitions, it's like they're all taken into account. So it's not really, here's your, the last one you win. At least it shouldn't be. I mean,
that's my big problem with the show.
Yeah, that would be my biggest. Yeah, I'm the same way. It really though they have 2 segments. You almost want to lose the first one, the worst. So you get an extra bump in the second one. And depending on, some of them are really bad. Some of them, like...
Some look horrible, you can't eat it.
You can't eat it, right?
This is not at all what you were supposed to do. What, you didn't follow the ingredients. What is in here? Like...
But at the same time, I mean, like, unless somebody goes to that level, you can still make something and come in last. And if you get that last place, that extra bump, whatever they give you, can really, really hurt the other teams. And oddly enough, I've only seen one episode where somebody actually played it strategically. Out of all the Nailed It's we watched, most of the time they use the thing when they're falling behind. And it's like, oh my God, I'm panicking. I'm going to use my thing. And that'll help me catch up. One person in a baking competition waited until they knew that everybody's cakes were supposed to come out of the oven, and then paused them for an extra 2 minutes so that they couldn't take their cakes out for an extra 2 minutes. And as we know from this show, an extra 2 minutes can be life or death when it comes to baking. So somebody actually, and they thought it through. They were planning that from the get-go. I'm going to use this when I know everybody has to take their cakes out, so they will have to wait. And my cake will come out. My cake, not only will I be ahead of them, but there's a good possibility or a chance of their cakes being spoiled as a result. And when it comes down to the money, taste is half of the... the competition, right? So, yeah, it's funny that more people don't really use it that way. I think everybody's just having too much fun. Nicole's just having so much fun with everybody, and just, they're just having a good time really on the show.
That's the thing. It's like, okay, there's the pressure of, oh no, I only have this much time, and what do I do, and whatever. But everybody usually is like laughing, and just it doesn't seem like a stressful, high pressure, even though there's the time pressure and whatever. Everybody seems to be having fun, so I like that.
Yeah. So we've watched how many seasons?
Anytime I get a thing, there's more Nailed It.
There's more Nailed It. But like we said, it's only the U.S. Nailed It. Nicole and Jacques, to the point now. Yeah. They make the show. They really make the show. Yes, every once in a while you'll get an episode where the actual contestants on it are interesting or funny, or, you know, they do something really stupid so it ends up being interesting. But for the most part, it's the same thing over and over and over again. Every episode is exactly the same. So if it isn't for the host, you know, it's not like Jeopardy where you can play along. It's not like Wheel of Fortune where you can guess the puzzle. You're just watching other people bake. So unless they're interesting, which for the most part they really aren't. They're just home bakers. Sometimes they do stupid things, but they're often not interesting. It really comes down to the host. And it's never the guest host. Even though some of the guest hosts have tried to be really, really funny, they're not. In fact, most of the guest hosts, I actually prefer it when it's one of the professional judges, like somebody who's a chef or a baker or something like that who can critique on the food themselves. Because whenever they get these comedians in, they're comedians I've never heard of. And there's a reason why I've never heard of them. They're not very good. Right? Sorry guys, most of you aren't funny. But Nicole, she's clearly, it's almost like I want to see a stand-up thing from Nicole,
well,
right?
When you were checking I got a little bit excited because I thought, oh wait, did she do stand-up? Because I want to find that.
Well, she was on some stand-up show, so I'm guessing, or I don't know if they're stand-up shows. They sound like stand-up shows. So maybe there is something of her doing stand-up that's out there that you can watch. But I wouldn't be surprised if she's doing the comedy clubs, you know, in LA or wherever. I'm sure it's filmed in LA.
She just, it's her personality.
It's her personality. It's something about it. So I would like to see her as a comedian, not just the host of the show, but as a comedian, and see like what she comes across as. Because honestly, if she's as funny on stage as she is on this thing, give this lady a show, man. Sitcom her.
Because I mean, on Nailed It, I don't believe they're allowed to like swear or anything, right?
No, it's
so
very
it'd
family
be
friendly
kind
show.
of funny to see her in like a different atmosphere where maybe
More
she
adult
doesn't.
oriented.
Maybe
she
she's
doesn't.
not like that and she doesn't
Maybe,
do that. But
maybe.
I have a feeling she kind of would, and and go into different areas, and I think that would be funny to see her do that.
Yeah, but yeah, I give Nailed It US definite thumbs up and recommend because of the hosts. Mm-hmm. They are really good. Obviously, if you watch, you know, season 1 of Nailed It and you're not buying into Nicole or Jacques, there's no point really going on to any of the others. It's the same. It's the same competition everywhere you go. It's up to them, man. And to us, they sell that show. It's all about them. I don't know. I really enjoy them.
And we liked her from, I mean, it took a while for me to kind of like him. He was a little bit annoying in the beginning, so I was like, I don't know about you. But I liked her from right away.
Oh yeah, right away. But that was the whole thing. It was she was the funny guy and he was the straight man. But he's kind of flipped that around. He's having a lot more fun. So as you get further on in the seasons, definitely he's a lot more entertaining. And it's funny because I think partially that is because he's trying to be funny, but he's not a funny guy. So he will say stuff and it's clearly not the same thing. Like it doesn't come across properly. And Nicole will, you know, being Nicole, will be like playing it right into it and be like, you know, like, that's not what you meant to say. I know what you're trying to say, but now you've opened yourself up for me to totally play a joke into that, and I'm going with it. Their chemistry is amazing. It's just, it's fantastic. So, yeah. If you're not into baking shows,
that's okay.
I think you should give it a shot still.
Because I don't like traditional baking shows and everything's perfect and, well, pretty perfect, you know what I mean? And it's, I'm not into that. Not my thing.
But that's the whole thing. Even if they were perfect, like even if this wasn't Nailed It, I still think it would be entertaining because of those two.
You can't really make fun of a lot of things if everything's perfect.
But you can. You can. If you're good at it. Right? But yeah. Totally check it out. Give it a go. And again, if you watch the whole first season. It's not very long. They're short episodes. But watch it through. I mean, you'll be able to binge it in no time. And if you dig it, continue on. You don't need to go to the other languages though. Unless it's the competition portion of it. Like you actually like watching people fail at what they're making, then yeah, you can watch all of them. Because it's the same thing. Over and over and over and over again. That's not really... I mean, some of them, sure, it's funny. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes what they make, you kind of scratch your head as what the hell were they doing? How did they come up with that? And yes, it is funny. But that's not really the reason why the show works, in my opinion. Would you concur with that? It really is about the hosts. So yeah, that's what we recommend you do. Check it out. Nailed It. The Netflix reality TV Instagram-like baking competition thing. Anyways, comment down below if you've seen any of the series. What did you think of them? Are you on the same page with us, or did you not like it at all? Either way, we love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Till next video, take care. Have a good one.